The winner grunt is, he repeated, but he didn't get to make his announcement. Everyone gasped and cried as a big dog came bounding across the grass. The dog's ears were flat against its head and its tail wagged furiously as it galloped toward the podium. Nervous Rex bumped me from behind. Hey, isn't that our dog? How did Pooper get out of the house? I shielded my eyes from the sun with one hand so I could see better. Yes, it was Pooper. And to prove beyond a doubt that it was our dog, he stopped in front of Principal Grunt, squatted, and began to poop. Kids laughed and shouted. Principal Grunt's face turned red as a tomato, and he shook the trophy angrily in the air. Pooper is ruining the whole awards ceremony, Nervous Rex cried. I laughed. I think he's improving it. Rex began to tremble. If Grunt finds out he's our dog, he'll find a way to punish us. Wow, Pooper must have had a big breakfast, I cried. Look at him go.
You can't scare me, not with the basement of botany. Maybe a sentient dummy calling all creep.
Boo, dudes. Here we are. Will Smith laugh. Back. Another episode of Calling All Creeps. I'm your host, a penis cramp. And I'm here with a butt massage. Ooh la la. Feels good after you sit down.
It sure does.
Oh my God. I hate sitting down and getting a cramp in my butt and penis.
Speaking of which, how was your Halloween, my boo dudes?
Yeah. Let us know how your Halloweens were. Hey, if you were a Goosebumps character or inspired costume, get at us.
Send it out to us. We'll post it on our gram.
Yeah, give us a pic.
Did you have a haunted Halloween?
I hope you did.
That was a joke.
Too.
That was because of the movie.
Yep, I remember the gummy bears.
Oh yeah, because there were gummy bears in that one.
There were.
What
hey,
book
Dave,
were they from?
No book.
my favorite book.
Maybe,
No
although we don't have awareness, I guess, of a lot of the new canon.
Also, the latter half of the 62, because this is a podcast where we read every single Goosebumps book of the original 62, except for now. Like this second, we're not doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, a little misdirection. Well played, Dave.
You were looking over there. You were looking right, and we bobbed and weaved left.
We're over here, idiot.
Yeah.
Look over here.
Hey, Four Eyes. I bet you have glasses, Four Eyes.
What's up, Poindexter? Oops, I spilled ink inside your pocket because you forgot your protector.
What's that limp? You have polio, idiot?
Yeah, maybe you should meet a little guy named, I don't know, Jonas Salk.
Oh, got him. Sulked him.
Salked. You've been salked. Well, bye. Oh, yeah, we did something a little different, Dave. Just like R.L. Stine himself, we did something a little bit different this week. And hey, if you don't like when we steer away from the original canon, maybe you should try walking in our shoes. How do you think it feels? It's a burden.
It sure is. Our shoes, they fucking stink.
They stink like shit.
We've been walking for 46 books. That's not the number, I don't think. Where are we at?
Well, this would have been our 46th.
Yeah, but we're almost at 62 episodes.
But yeah, we did a bunch of other shit.
Yeah, but yeah. So we took a break because R.L. Stine took a break, and he decided to put down his award-winning, famous franchise to pick up another from the 80s, the Garbage Pail Kids.
Yes. And Dave, I have to say, you let me know that this existed, and I ordered it on the internet.
It's a nice-looking book.
It's a nice-looking book. I think that's the best thing it has going for it.
It's a good,
nice hardcover with the glossy sections that are very alluring. And
Great
it came
little
with
design on
cards.
the spine, like
Yeah.
right where the little ditch that leads to the spine. What is
Yeah.
you were a professor of literature. You probably know what that's called.
Yes, that's called the reservoir, Dave. The reservoir.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Many people know who the Topps trading card characters of the Garbage Pail Kids are, most famous in the 80s, but many people may not know, and it's basically a parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids, which you
Yeah.
also may not know because they are also long dead. But basically, imagine a doll that looks like a potato, and that's it's like a regular doll with like a potato head. And,
Right. And it's not just a potato head, it's one that you microwaved.
yeah.
And then you got some sour cream and some chives. And you know what you did? Dave, you ever see the movie American Pie? No, it came out a long time ago. Not many people have heard of it. You Biggsed it. That's what I was going to say.
Jason
You fucking
Biggs.
Jason Biggs that potato.
Well, what I was going to say is that a normal Cabbage Patch Kid doll is like, you can Google it. It's like a potato plush doll of like a nice child. A Garbage Pail Kid is like, you take that doll and you just hold it up to your ass and fart on it several times.
That's right.
And that's how you
yeah.
make a Garbage Pail Kid. And there are many, because they were based on a trading card sticker series.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a challenge because RLS had to take this franchise that didn't really have a story other than, by the way, did you know they had a movie in the 80s? It is horrifying.
A Garbage Pail one?
Yeah.
Yikes.
It
Don't
was
wanna see
live.
it.
It was live action.
Oh my God.
And it was like normal kids meet these like, and it looks like they're just made out of like Play-Doh and slime. Like it was gross.
Yikes.
Horrible. But he had so many different characters to bring together into this story. It was a big task, and
Yeah.
he dove headfirst into the butthole of Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah.
He stretched it open, and he said, "Daddy's home."
Yeah. 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 And he fit himself right in there. And I got to say, it's an impossible narrative to really enjoy, first of all.
I am going to be on the other side. I enjoyed this book greatly. I think
So
this
it depends
may
what you're
be
looking for.
R.L. Stine's magnum opus.
Oh, my goodness.
And the tagline for this is, "Who needs parents, right?" I'm already like, yeah, dude. Fuck parents. That's what I'm talking about.
Kick flip.
And did you read on the back, there's little things that say, like, "This book made me glad I don't know how to read," by Chris P. Critter. Or,
Yes.
"I looked for this book everywhere, but I couldn't find it," by Brooke Lynn Bridge.
Yep.
Or, "My book was upside down, so I had to read it standing on my head," by Ann Idiot. And my favorite one is, "Did I get paid for writing this mess?" R.L. Stine.
Love it. Yep.
It's great. All right, so would you like to introduce our cast of characters?
Yeah. So here are our caricatures. Okay. Are you ready? So we have our main protagonist. That is Adam Bomb. Okay.
And he is a little boy in a suit whose head is exploding with a mushroom cloud.
Correct. And he's pushing the button to do that.
Yeah.
Then we have Babbling Brook, who's spitting up all over herself in the photo. We have Brainy Janie, who has a freakishly big Mars Attacks brain. Cranky Frankie, who's trying to, I mean, it looks like he's trying to fuck like a meat grinder.
No, he's shoving homework books. He's shoving textbooks into a sausage maker.
I love it.
And he's got devil horns.
He does have devil horns. Thank you, Dave.
Rough.
He's very horny.
Yeah.
Handy Sandy is trying to snap her own neck.
No. She is redefining finger blasting. Handy Sandy has one hand blasting through the top of her skull.
Oh my
one
God, she
hand
does.
blasting through the bottom of her skull, and she doesn't have teeth. It's her fingies.
Holy shit, I didn't even put that together. That's horrific.
Double finger blast.
Pass. And then Junk Food John is like a baby. He's pictured as like a infant.
It's just his teeth are like gone. They're just rotted down, and he's just wearing like a dirty underwear, and he's just eating shit.
And yeah, and I know that's supposed to be a lollipop underneath him, but it looks like a mirror so that like he could stare at his own balls.
We've all been there.
Yeah, I got to admire the worst part of a human body. And Luke Puke, who in the picture that we have in the book has puked up a skull. Did you see that?
In an eyeball, a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
He basically puked up the Jersey Shore.
Yeah, there you go.
An apple core, a pair of scissors.
There's a needle in there, of course.
Of course.
Nervous Rex is like a little baby as well. He's, poking his own nose there. He's picking his nose.
He's got lines that make it look like he's vibrating because he's so nervous.
Yes. And Rob Slob, who looks like a piglet.
I think he's a little piglet.
He's a pig man.
He's wearing jeans and he's just covered in shit.
Correct. And pigs famously love apples in their mouths. Say it with me, everybody. Apples in their mouths.
Apples in their mouths.
Apples in their mouths. Wacky Jackie, she has a bunch of springs coming out of her head. Like a broken Jack in the Box.
She's in a straitjacket with a lock on it, so she can't get out.
That's right. And she has a chastity belt.
Which may be needed for this book. Gets sexy sometimes.
A little bit, it does. And that can make you a little uncomfortable. Before we dive into this, I just want to say just want to get the broad context because there is no plot really. So the plot is that a bunch of kids live together and they don't have parents and they wish they had parents, so they have to trick somebody into thinking they have parents, and they do. Not. Do and do not. That's the whole story, right?
Yeah, but the real story is R.L. Stine is going to look left, look right, take a big bag of jokes, and just slam them and jam them in there. There's so many jokes per page. JPP, as RLS calls it in the biz. His JPP's through the roof.
It is. It's larger than most countries' GDP, Dave.
It's crazy.
If anybody wants to talk economy. Yeah, I don't know that, like, I enjoyed some of that, but I think there's nothing here. Like, I think I pictured RL seeing a paycheck and going like, oh, very cool, I could do this. And they're like, okay, the title is Garbage Pail Kids. And he was like, cool. And out of that one sentiment, he wrote like 190 pages. Because it's like one page is dedicated to like someone coughing or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but this, I'm on the other side of this. I feel like this is the book R.L. Stine's been waiting to write.
It seemed half-hearted.
No, the jokes are so good though. He doesn't give a shit about the plot. We'll say that. The plot,
no, for
this
sure.
is just
a
vehicle. It's just a vehicle for the jokes. Mm-hmm. This is like the, I don't know, like you're not just going to sit and eat tortilla chips. You want some of that juicy guac. And he wants to guac you.
He'll pay extra.
He'll pay extra for that guac, and this book is guacful. How about this? Can I go through this book and try to get you to like it?
Yes, please.
All right. So I'm going to go through this plot, and you're going to let me know when it's good, when it's bad, or your feelings, right? So we're going to start off. So by the way, because R.L. Stine really likes Quentin Tarantino books, this book jumps from character to character and from different times to different times. First of all, he has to build this narrative in pieces and let it all fit together. That's not too straightforward. Mm-hmm. A little bit of care was taken. So we start off, one of our main characters is Adam Baum. So we get his view of the science fair. So Adam decides that he is going to make a science fair project about ways to clean cats. So he steals the teacher Mrs. Whoopingough's cat and puts it in a washing machine and basically kills it. And this is where we get to meet Patty and Peter Perfect, who are the only non-anthropomorphic buttholes in the school. They are actual people.
Yeah.
while the Pail Kids are like little goblins.
Correct.
And they made a solar system out of fruit. Another Garbage Pail Kid did the effects of water balloons on teachers. Rob has a mineral farm, which turns out is just boogers because he's been digging for minerals in his nose.
That's right.
He makes Miss Hoopingcoff vomit because of it. And because she throws up, he loses the science fair, which makes him get so upset that he eats all of his minerals. And all of this is just so much anxiety that it makes Atom Bomb want to have an anxiety attack, which means that his head will fucking burst.
It will explode, but it doesn't explode quite yet.
No, because all the kids live together with no parents in a house.
Yeah.
Right next door to the perfect parents.
That's right.
And from what he knows, they're going to come in and check because the property values are going down in their town. And let alone that, on their street, because you got these kids just like taking dumps and like rubbing their butts on mailboxes and just puking for fun.
Yeah, so they're always stopping over and they're like, hey, where's Mom and Dad? And they're like, Mom and Dad went to get dinner at Macaroni Garden. And then on the way, Dad ate Mom's ass. And then Dad so hard that his balls exploded off. And then he died. And then Mom died because his head exploded in her butt. And
16 minutes is when you need to bleep. But they have a nice home. They have a parrot who's the most infuriating character in the book. And they have
Patooey.
the best character ever. Their dog.
Yes. Pooper.
Their dog's name is Pooper.
Pooper.
And he's really good because usually what he'll do in this book is appear and then take a shit
That's his job.
and then leave.
Yeah. So characters that take shits in this book: Pooper and the bird, whose name I think is Patooey, isn't it?
Patooey, yeah.
Yeah. Patooey shits on the ground inside. The dog shits outside and inside. And then characters who eat shit. Junk Food John eats mouse shit at a certain point in this book.
Doesn't Robbie Slobby or whatever his name is also eat shit at one point?
I'm sure you're right. Yeah.
But so Atom Bomb's afraid he's going to explode. He's so anxious about the Perfects coming over and discovering that they don't have parents. He's trying to get home, but they're all watching their favorite TV show, Johnny Pants Fall Down.
Yes.
Luke is home because he left hurling team with a stomach ache. That's the school team where you vomit. And then they all decide to call a house meeting where they can see Babbling Brook do cheerleader calls. And then there's a knock on the door. Uh-oh. That was good. Then we switch perspectives because now we're with Brainy Janie.
That's right. And Brainy Janie is identifying parts of the brain to the class, right? Is that where we come in on her?
Yes.
And she...
This part rules. How could you hate this? This part is awesome.
Well, I did. So I wrote down a couple of the things that Brainy Janie uses to describe the brain, like parts of the brain, right? Metamucil.
Yeah.
That's like the frontal part. There's the hippocampus, and the Lollapalooza.
Yes.
And the Abadabba, of course.
Yeah.
Which is that's the horny center.
Of course.
Yeah.
Kind of funny.
The names?
Yeah, and then she says that she brought in like the whole joke of like, well, did you bring in enough for everybody in the class? Because she brought in brain, and she's like, and this time I brought enough for the whole class. They say some people in the world eat brains for a living. So she's going to have everybody eat brains. And they're like, well, where are these brains from? Are they from like like an animal or something like that? They're from different tribes. And while people are eating it, she goes, nah, my uncle died last week. And everyone starts puking. She says, no, they're just potatoes. But like, she literally, that whole 2 chapters is about her pretending that she fed human to her elementary school class.
It's true.
And it was funny. I laughed
Yeah.
at Lollapalooza and Metamucil.
Yeah, I mean, it got me enough where I wrote it down. I think as the book progresses, I don't know. For me, it got harder to swallow. I did like all that stuff. I liked learning about their insane mannerisms and like what their superpowers are. And then I like the Johnny Pants Fall Down thing. Like the enemy is called Big Bootus, which I think is very funny.
It's very funny. His power is that he's got a big ass. And they draw him, and he's just like walking like, what's up? With like a giant ass.
Big old shelf ass.
It's very good.
I liked that. I liked... I liked that. Oh, man, I wish I could find it sort of expediently. But there's a Johnny Pants Fall Down where his biggest power, Johnny Pants Fall Down's biggest power is that he... Oh, yes, perfect. Okay, can I just read? In the first Johnny Pants Fall Down, which the pages aren't numbered in those little catalogs, but it's like page 38-ish. Basically what this book does, as Dave mentioned, it Tarantinos itself back between all the characters at different points in the timeline, but it also... the narrative interrupts for these episodes, quote unquote, of this show, Johnny Pants Fall Down. And there's one that is incredible, and I'm just going to read it quickly to you.
Please read it.
Oh my God. Yeah, perfect. So, I mean, I'll cut a bunch of that shit out. But yeah, this part where Johnny Pants Fall Down, his superpower is sniffing a toilet, and it says...
No, it's X-ray.
Yeah, it's X-ray
Smell.
nose. It's X-ray nose, but he says, I like the way you think, Johnny whispered. I followed him into the next room. My X-ray nose told me that someone had gone to the bathroom recently. We've got to find the stairs pronto, Johnny whispered. Big Buddhist has a head start on us, but we can't let him leave. And I also want to say, the page before that, it says, my X-ray nose tells me they had roast beef for dinner.
There's other good little like distractions in this book. There's one where you get a quiz, a history test that Brainy Janie took, and some of the questions were kind of funny, like the answers. Like, I don't know. I feel like he'd been saving up so many jokes, and he finally just blew his load. His joke load. That didn't. You don't have to bleep that out. Like, for example, this is the question. Can you describe the first Thanksgiving? And her answer was, yes, the Pilgrims decided to hold it on Thanksgiving Day. They didn't have turkeys in those days, so they ate maize, which is another word for something or other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just stuff like, what was it? Who was the first president of the United States? A New England colonist named Marcus Absent declared himself the first president in 1722. At that time, there was no United States. It was later discovered there was no Marcus Absent. He was completely made up. And like little dumb stuff like, this is the one I liked. Finish the famous line that young George Washington said after he was chopping down a cherry tree. I cannot tell a lie. I want to kill all cherry trees because I hate the pits.
Yeah.
It's stupid, but it's like, I don't know. So they have a knock on the door. Turns out that whole time it was let's
neighbors,
see.
Right?
No, it wasn't the neighbors this time. It was Cranky Frankie. He left the house because he was so pissed that somebody was cheerleading, and he ended up leaving and then coming in the front door.
Yeah.
Luke Puke shows up too because he was sent home from puking team with an upset stomach. On page 34, when they're all talking about, like, listen, we're not going to be able to live here anymore. Because the whole deal, like we said, is that if they figure out that they don't have parents, that's the rule. I mean, the real world's not like The Sims. You can't just have kids living inside of a house, setting off fireworks inside and burning to death.
It'll be chaos.
Yeah, so they would get kicked out of Smellville. And at one point on page 34, they basically having like this crazy existential crisis. So they said, how did we get this feather brain anyway? Talking about Patui. And I asked, no one knows, Rob Sob said. We all turned to Brainy Janie. She's the brainiest brainiac in the house. She knows everything. Do you know how we got this parrot, I asked? She shook her head. No, I don't. Do you know how we got our dog, Pooper? Adam asked. Janie shook her head. No, I don't. We don't know anything about ourselves, Handy Sandy said. Janie, do you know how we all got in this house? Janie shook her head. No, I don't. Well then, how do we all get to Smellville? Sandy asked. Do you know? Janie shook her head. No, I don't. Why don't we have parents? Brooke chimed in. And why do we live here all by ourselves? I don't know, Janie said. Why are we all sort of different? Wacky Jackie asked. How come we're not like other kids? Do you know? Janie shook her head. No, I don't. We're not getting anywhere, I said. Enough with the questions. Brainy Janie turned to me. If we don't ask questions, how are we going to learn anything? And it's like this really weird part of the book that just completely stops everything dead, and it's just kind of like, this is a made-up book, this is weird, and it's just like, I don't know. There's so many shifts in this book. It's like, imagine trying to write down in prose a Family Guy episode. Where it's just like, then Peter is just like, banana peanut. And then it's like, and then he thought about when he was dressed as the Planter's Peanut. And the Planter's Peanut had two big balls. And he was like, are you going to finish those?
Hey, Lois, take a look at my big balls. Hey, Quagmire, get a load of my big balls.
What did we talk about before this episode?
Hey, Lois, let me do the Borat voice. Yak mash. It's me, Peter.
Oh, God. So then we get our first Johnny Pants Fall Down, which is their favorite.
It's my best friend. It's Quagmire.
Did you notice, Giggity, that do you know Johnny Pants Fall Down? Every single one is that his sidekick, who is a werewolf boy, forgets his suspenders or his belts, and then they're going to stop Big Buddha's ass, and they don't because his pants fall down.
Yes.
And then his slogan, his like end of every episode is keep your pants up and reach for the stars.
Yep.
Which I thought was funny, but what I thought was even funnier is this joke.
Tell me.
Do you know where Johnny Pants Fall Down lives? Of course,
No.
it ends in falls because pants falls down.
No.
Pubic Falls.
Pubic?
Pubic.
Oh, pubic.
But you have to tell me that's not on purpose. The guy whose whole deal is underwear and his pants falling out and like exposing himself lives in Pubic Falls.
What is pubic?
I think it's just supposed to sound like pubic.
Okay.
Right?
I mean, yeah, it does sound like pubic. That's what I thought you were saying.
Because everything else is a pun and a joke, and it's Pubic Falls.
Pubic Falls. Is this a word that I should know, though? Maybe pubic is something. Hold on. We have to get to the bottom of this.
What if pubic is just like a gross pube?
Yeah.
Word of the day, pubic. It's actually a word.
Oh, navel gazing. No.
Hebrew settled on this word. It stands for belly button.
Pubic Falls.
A small dimple in your belly button.
Right.
It's like a Hebrew term for belly button dimples.
Yeah, and the first image search is a picture of Nicole Kidman.
Sick.
Yeah, pretty cool.
She always confuses me with her last name. It's like kid and then man.
Right, I know. Yeah.
Does that make you think?
Yeah, it's really interesting. It does feel like a joke every time you hear it.
Yeah, so then Brainy Janie takes over again. They decide that they're going to make a trap. So Handy Sandy decides to put a bear trap. Oh, no, this is when she does a bear trap in a rug. But also, this time, she electrifies the doorbell.
The doorknob, yeah.
The doorknob, that's it. But then the Perfects enter, and they don't get shocked. And they say that currently their mom was at the dentist getting all of their teeth removed.
Yeah.
And then this I thought was funny. They're like, why would they do that? Is she hurt? Is she sick? And they were like, nah, just for fashion.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
Yeah. Yeah, they just wanted to do it because of the way it looks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, no, it's for fashion.
Which
like,
is
okay.
relatable. I mean, we've all had that urge.
Yeah. And then, of course, they're like, oh, the electric door didn't work, and they touched it, and they get shocked, and they die, and then they have a child funeral. Just kidding, they're immortal.
They are immortal. They're immortal beings.
Okay, so you have to tell me you didn't enjoy this part. Come on.
Okay.
We're going into art class.
Uh-huh.
Nervous Rex goes to art class, and this art teacher is the most abusive teacher ever. This is chapter 14.
Okay.
And my man RLS nails it on a good joke here as well. They're working with clay. Says, my clay slipped off the table and landed on top of my shoe. I tried to pull it back off. She blew it. Hey, check it out, Wacky Jackie called and held up her clay creation. What is that? Mrs. Hoopingcoff asked. Jackie grinned. It's a body part. Guess what it is? Put that away, our teacher screams. Just the whole time when I was like, they're playing with clay, and I'm like, somebody better make a dick.
Oh, I did write in my notes. Page 69, Jackie makes a clay dildo. There it is.
The best part is at the beginning of this too. He Nervous Rex is saying like he doesn't like art class. It's like one day after class, I went up to Miss Whooping Cough and I told her how I felt. I always think about that everyone is better than me. I said. She said, "Yes, everyone is better than you." She said, "But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do your best." Those encouraging words meant a lot to me. And the whole beginning is just the teacher being like, you are fucking awful. You are an idiot, and I hate you.
Yeah, it's really bad.
It is. And then the Perfects make a horse and the horse rider for the art museum. Rob Slob makes an armpit.
Correct.
And then he, farts or something, and everybody has to leave art.
Yeah, he just stinks so fucking bad.
You can't spell art without most of fart.
That's right. That's the old adage. That's what they say. So they're trying to give Brainy Janie takes over, and they're trying to give Rob the Slob a bath, and that's a whole chapter. Is like we should give him a bath. Okay, let's try to give him a bath, and it turns out that when you bathe Rob the Slob, the stink gets worse.
Also, a turtle was living on him, and he didn't know.
That's right, a turtle. I didn't know turtles were attracted so strongly to stinky stuff. Like why not a bunch of flies or like a raccoon or something?
All I know is that this chapter has some of the best dialogue in the book.
Tell me.
This isn't my good section, but I'll just say it right now. So, I nodded and turned to Rob. Rob, how do you feel about baths? I asked. He grinned. Bath? What's a bath? Well, we'll show you, I said. Would you like a hot bath or a cold bath? Yes, he answered. What kind of soap do you like? I don't remember, Rob said. How about shampoo? I asked. How about it? He replied. We all stared at him in silence. This was a big moment in our house. Rob Slob was willing to take a bath. This would improve our lives forever. Can we give you a bath right now? I asked. My heart was pounding with excitement. Sure, Rob said. Why not? And that's I just think that's so funny. I just love the whole hot or cold, and he's like, yes. He's like, well, how about shampoo? How about it? It's just
it's a bizarre, irreverent exchange.
But it gives voice to these characters, and it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, there's a lot of dialogue, and I mean, there's a lot of stuff in this book that's wacky like that. It's supposed to reflect, I guess, this universe, because they do create, obviously, as we said, like a universe where these little cretins can exist.
Mm-hmm. And this is the first book, so you'll have an idea of the characters more as it goes on. It actually becomes easier to read the more you go through it, but it's a little rough in the beginning. And then basically, the Perfects arrive. They talk about pedaling a bike to buy a poodle into a poodle piddling in a puddle, which is their excuse, which is like a fun kids thing maybe. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, if you see the word piddle, you laugh a little bit.
Poodle has poo in it. That rocks.
That's fun. More
Yeah,
poo.
man.
That's what this book needs.
And then Babbling Brook takes over. She says that Fritos are her favorite vegetable.
Yep.
Then there's a food fight. And then Coach Sweaty Pants sees Adam throw a ham so well that he wants him for the football team. And also Cranky Frankie is depressed.
Yes. Out of nowhere.
He's just depressed, and they decide to get him a red balloon because they said he always wanted a red balloon. and it takes days to get the red balloon because they go and it's like this whole epic to get this red balloon.
Yeah.
And then they give it to him and he looks and he cries and they're like, what happened? And he hears the whole story and he's just like, I wanted a blue balloon.
Yep. And Cranky Frankie is a bit of a dick, but he has a soft spot in his heart for his friends.
He sure does. He also has Satan horns and teeth like knives.
He sure does. But he's got a cute little inside. He seems like a nice boy.
The hero of Smellville invented the garbage pail, the metal garbage pail, which is where their name comes from, and they learn that at the tomb of the unknown sanitation worker, where they have a garbage contest.
Yep.
And they're judging the garbage, but as you read in the beginning, Pooper runs out and just takes a dump right in front of the principal, and he just starts throwing up because it was such a stinky poop.
Yeah, he throws up in the trophy, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. And then he still gives the trophy to the Perfects.
Yeah. Oh, yes, because I have the image here. He's barfing very prolifically into the trophy.
Did we mention there's pictures?
Yeah. The pictures are great.
They got really good illustrators that have worked on Garbage Pail Kids for a while. Garbage Pail Kids are still going on. Actually, when they did a music series that was very good, and I picked up a whole bunch.
Wow.
So there's some really good ones. There's like, I'll have to show you some of them. They're really good. I really wanted the Devo ones, but like, there were some deep cuts.
That's awesome.
So I'll have to show you those later. But yeah, and then it basically just runs down from there where Brainy Janie rents a mom who calls herself the Enforcer, who is obviously just some sort of meth head.
Yeah. And she does this because the Perfects say they're coming over. Mm-hmm. And to expect them. And, their parents have to be home from getting all their teeth removed. So when the Perfects do ultimately arrive... Well, first, this rent-a-mom they think is pretty wild. Like, she says a lot of crazy stuff, and she's, wearing a garbage bag. And I don't know, what does she even do in there? She just, has weird rules and stuff.
Yeah, she basically just, fucks with everybody.
Yeah.
And just makes up crazy rules, and then she's like, everyone be quiet, but then she snores so loud that, it makes the earth shake.
Oh, that's right.
She also decides that she's not leaving.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's like, I fucking live here now.
Yeah. And I don't even remember how they get her out. So they physically remove her, don't they?
In the end, they basically make all these traps to try and kill her.
Yes. Yeah.
And what they do in the end is she hates loud noises, so they invite everybody in the town, all the kids, to have a party to make the loudest noise ever. Yeah. They say that it's above 200 something decibels, to the point where if you walk near it, your ears will explode and start bleeding.
Yeah.
But then the Perfects hired her to be a bad example for their kids, so they know.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the book.
That's the book. So, what's your good? Well, first of all, let's fight for this book. You think it's bad?
Yeah, I think it's. I did not. I mean, largely, I did not enjoy it. I just think it was filler. You know what it reminded me of was when I was teaching, and you have these essays. For us, it was 3 core essays that you had to do throughout the semester. Mm-hmm. And with increasingly large page lengths. Each assignment was 3 to 4, then it was 5 to 6, then it was 7 to 8, whatever. And just the way that kids would artfully bullshit their way through the whole thing, really. Just pad it. Make a sentence the longest it could be with unnecessary words and stuff. This read like a student who's going to get a C-. It was just filler.
I don't agree. I feel like the story didn't matter, but it was just to put as many funny little stories and jokes in it. I think this book is meant to be read 1 or 2 chapters before bed as a kid, like a young boy who likes vomiting. If you think vomiting is funny, This book rips. This book rules.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe if you are like, I don't know, 11, maybe at the oldest, this might be fun. I do think there's fun in it, and I think there are jokes and some lines you like, and the dog shits a lot and stuff. But I think you can consolidate this book into half of what it is.
Yeah, it was long. I mean, we won't be reading another one.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we took a foray into it.
Yeah, I mean, it cleanses the palate. It's a little refresher. But, we there's like, whatever, like this, right? It's like literally, I'm just holding up the book to the camera here. It's like this chapter where she's snoring.
Yeah.
It's just like, there's like 2 pages of just the sound effect of this ronk sound that she's snoring, and them like rolling her outside. But anyway, I mean, I didn't totally hate it, but I it's not in my top. It's not my top RL joints.
It's not one of my top RL joints, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
He always wants to be jovial Bob Stine and do jokes, and this one really let him loose, and it just felt so good to let him run wild.
Yeah.
It felt good. No restrictions on this boy. He was making dick jokes and going nuts.
That's right. Yep. A lot of scat talk.
So and even more, there were good jokes. all of my good are just good jokes.
Yeah.
Do you have any good?
I didn't really do like a good and bad. I felt it. It was just so hard for me. There's 10 characters. There's like nothing going on and a lot going on at once, because it's like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of talk about nothing.
It's chaotic.
Yeah, it's like, it's like everybody's point of view about like them sitting in the living room or something. And I didn't know, like the prospect to me of like categorizing those things was Herculean. So I just wrote down like some shit, like Wacky Jackie plays the bagpipes. That's funny. The parrot shits on the floor when the perfects come over. That's funny. I do think Janie Brainy saying that her parents went to the dentist to get her teeth removed, quote, for looks, is very funny. Yeah, I mean the poop or the dog shitting in front of the principal is funny. Adam's head explodes and he doesn't have a head anymore. Like,
yes,
it's just gone. It has to like grow back.
And they just like lay him in a bedroom.
Yeah,
like, we'll deal with him later.
That's funny. And the kid's rent-a-mom tells the perfects that her husband is a murderer.
Yes, she does.
And then I also liked Big Buddhist. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. She was like, so what does your husband do for a living? And it's like, oh, we're not together anymore, but he was a murderer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. She also has another good one that I have in here. So I'm going to say the Perfects wanted to make a life-size model of the solar system, but their living room wasn't big enough. I love that RLS knows what Lollapalooza is.
Yes.
I love that the Perfects do anything for extra credit. They said they want extra credit for everything. Peter once asked if he could get extra credit for going to the bathroom. On page 34, they realize that their existence is fake. I thought he made a pube joke. Scratch that. He didn't. I love the my X-ray nose tells me someone went to the bathroom recently.
My god, that is the best.
I like this line. The dog really is perfect. When they gave him a biscuit, he says grace before he eats. Like, that's something that if I read in like somebody else's thing as just like a, I could see that in like an actual story. Like, of course not it being literal, but like,
yeah.
I thought that was a really good detail. That was great. I love that there's a clay dick or ass on page 69. Because you got to think, he was waiting for that clay dick all the way till he hit 69 pages.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a dick.
That bath dialogue that I said before. On page 96, Junk Food John eats pudding off the front of his pants.
Yeah.
On page 138, Pooper poops. he does his namesake. On page 161, I squinted at Mama. Can you cook? Mama nodded. I was a cannibal for 10 years when I was younger. I could cook anything. There's so much stuff that like crosses the line where it's like, oh, what was your husband? A murderer. I was a cannibal.
Yeah.
Or it's crazy. There's so many things like that where you're just like, what?
Yeah.
When like Brainy Janie makes people think that they're eating her dead uncle. Like there's so many lines that are crossed, and I like that about it.
Yeah.
What about your bad? Do you have bad stuff or just what you said before?
Just what I said before. I just felt like I just don't know. Like, don't waste my time. Is what I would say. Like the extra stuff, I don't know. Ultimately, it's my fault, right? Because it's the reader's fault. You choose to read it. You dove into it, and there's stuff in here that's enjoyable for sure. And again, I didn't hate this, but I feel like a lot of it is a waste. But
it's a different. It's for the same demographic as Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Maybe a little even younger, but this is basically a joke book with a plot.
Yeah.
It's a joke book with a loose plot.
That's what it feels like. And
yeah.
It was nice to kind of, I'm aware of the Garbage Pail Kids, but I don't really know anything about that. So it is nice to see it come alive a little bit through the lens of a writer who I do like.
Yeah. And this is something we should have had Lou on for. We should ask and see if Lou is a huge Garbage Pail Kids guy, so we should ask him. We'll shout out Lou. Lou Morg, Critical Hit Tattoo. My bad is just the characters are introduced in rapid fire, and it's almost unmanageable figuring out who's there, especially trying to take notes.
Yeah.
And then I realized that your characters are introduced on a like picture page before the book starts.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought that was just some like flair on this really cool book. Oh yeah, another good part of this book is the book itself. Like we said, this is for $14. What you're getting is a hardcover book, incredibly printed, the glossy on top of the matte. It's just the design of it, which of course Topps probably did the design and got great artists. It looks awesome.
It looks very nice. Yeah, I like the packaging.
Yeah,
and it comes with a little RL trading card.
Yeah, it does, which I love.
Cute.
I have it up here on my shelf.
Yeah.
There is a joke on page 106, so it said she like basically broke, and it says her eyebrows formed the word tilt. Mm-hmm. I think that's a pinball joke.
Okay.
But if I'm 32 and don't understand it, I think the 11-year-olds and 8-year-olds aren't going to get it. So
yeah.
And then there was a part that was kind of nice where they're saying like my friends are, and then he was really good with the fragments in this too. You have to say when it comes to like grammar and everything in this book, even though he's just being like the farting ass did, like it was so much better. You can see that it's very different, and it's his craft has been mastered. But this was the only thing that bothered me. After talking about his friends, it was change that, period. They are my family. And I was like, it was kind of a nice thing where it was just like, yeah, we're just kids who live together, blah, blah. And they're like, no, we're not just kids who lived here. This matters because we're family. Mm-hmm. But it was like, no, change that. Like, it was just like a weird... It was just weird. Yeah. It was clunky. And it was a nice moment, though. It was a really nice moment, but that made it a little bit... All right. So, what's your top scare?
Wow. Didn't even think about that.
Do you want mine?
Well, yeah. I mean, I would say existing in this universe sucked. Like, I don't want to be part of any of this.
Yeah. Like, when Pooper poops such a tight poop that the Perfects think that it was a vase... Because he sphinctered and desphinctered and sphinctered.
Yes.
Like one of those, like, What is that song? It's like, oh, my love. And there's like a ghost squeezing the fucking poop out of his ass.
Yeah.
Like the movie Ghost.
I mean, there is a vase that they're making in there while they're doing like ghost stuff. That's the second ghost sex scene that I've seen. The first is Dan Aykroyd getting his DS'd by a ghost in Ghostbusters. By Slimer.
But bustin' makes him feel good.
It makes him feel good, baby. And Slimer likes hot dogs.
Sure does. My scare was when they see Atom Bomb's head explode. and they reference it.
Yeah.
Because they were like, yeah, his head explodes all the time. And they said, yeah, it's kind of disturbing for a while to see pieces of your friend's head exploded all over the walls and stuff. But after a while, you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
Like,
pretty gruesome.
Even these kids mentioned, they're like, yeah, seeing your friend's head in pieces exploded is really disturbing, but you get used to it. And I'm like, shit.
It's fucked up.
Shit. That's fucked up. Best dressed.
Best dressed. Well, I'm going to turn off my imagination completely and just take a look at their little outfits here. And I think honestly, you gotta go with. All right. Here's what I'll say. I think it's a bit of a tie. I respect Luke Puke immensely because he's mostly covered in vomit. He is wearing a Smells Like Teen Spirit t-shirt, Kurt Cobain's shirt in the Smells Like Teen Spirit video, and some Jenkos, and his hair sucks.
It's yarn.
It's yarn, yes, that's what I was trying to... It's like a mop head, kind of. And then we got Nervous Rex, and I gotta say, wearing a diaper just looks fucking good. Like, it just...
does.
It looks like it feels good. And, it's tough because Rob the Slob looks like shit, and I really respect that. But I think I have to go with overall, Dave, Luke Puke. How about you?
Originally, I just wrote a dog named Pooper, but you're not really dressed with your name, so I'm gonna go back to my dude Junk Food John for the scene where he has pudding all over the crotch of his pants.
Oh no. Yep.
Alternate title.
Dumpster outside of my house, children.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Nice.
Slightly different.
Slightly different. Mine is Lord of the Flies, but everyone has IBS.
That's true. There's a lot of gustatory things in here. It's a lot of puking and shitting.
Yeah. We've all been there.
Hey, yeah, what can you say, baby? You went to the Whole Foods salad bar. Are you paying the price?
I feel like producer Chib would read this and be like, how is this any different from how you guys talk about an episode or acts ever?
This is just a transcript of an episode.
It is.
This would be an improvement, actually, because there's no talk about or fucking...
Damn it, dude. You're going to have to keep... bleeping.
Or, they're not swearing. It's just, they're like Bart Simpson. They're little Bart Simpsons.
Mm-hmm. Mama is the witch, and Fast Food Fred tied with Rob Slob for most luscious liquor, I'll say.
Great. Love it. I'm down with that.
Yeah. And we're under an hour, and I love that about us.
We did it, finally, when we're not trying to.
When we're not trying, we can make it happen. And this was the longest book we've ever reviewed.
Yeah. Because
it's 200 pages.
Yeah. Because if you go through, we have to have some restraint. If we go through every single thing that happens, because it's like a lot of them just like have errant thoughts about this or that. So they're all like these little monologues. But there's not much to report,
Yeah. And there's like a whole chapter about the the vase poop and how he was only able to make wine glass poops, but then he went to school for pooping, and like it's just there's there's literally like 2.5 chapters about Rob Slob taking a bath, but then it makes him just smell worse in the next chapter, but it has nothing to... It's just little jokes, just a day in a life of a garbage pail kid.
Yeah. Great. Well, here we are. November 2nd, I guess. November 2nd. Can't wait till tomorrow until we don't learn who the president is. And then the weeks to come when the election is contested and we ultimately end up with Trump again. I hope everyone is doing well. COVID numbers are spiking.
Enjoyed Garbage Pail Kids, and that we were able to, just for the briefest hour, take you away from Garbage Pail Country.
Well said, Dave. Yes.
Yeah.
Who needs parents? Who needs the USA, right? Dave, am I right?
I'm trying to work out a new slogan. Like I want to make a T-shirt that sells and makes billions and millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I want to be like the Green Day. I want a T-shirt that sums up all Green Day did for against George W.
Right.
It's something about how like everyone's like, "Oh, America's better than Trump," and I want to be like, "No, we're not anymore."
Yeah.
Like, no, we suck and we deserve this.
For sure. They're one and the same at this point.
And to everyone else from other countries who are listening to us, sup,
Sup?
sup, guys.
I hope our friends down in Australia, I hope you're splashing about. And also New Zealand. Same sentiment.
Yeah, hope you're also
Splashing about.
And also, like you always say, to the people in Zimbabwe.
Toyota's hot. It's Toyotathon. Happy Toyotathon.
What?
And to my friends in Germany, happy Hyundais. How about that? And
Are Hyundais from Germany? Or Russia
no,
or wherever?
I'm
You could have went with Volkswagen. You could have.
Volkswagen's good, Dave.
Toyota is also a Japanese company,
yeah.
famously.
Yeah, and whose exports we can enjoy all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. You know, I know they love the tundra down there. Big tundra fans.
In Japan?
No, and down under, because they're driving down to the beach.
Down tundra.
Down tundra.
That was bad.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that.
So all this is going to be cut out, I hope.
Subaru. Hey, Subaru. Well, yeah. And then finally, I just want to sign off with Italy.
Please.
And
so what about Italy?
I want to say what I've always said from the beginning is if you're going to call a pair of plumbers, here's what I think you should do. No. Of course, to all our friends in Italy, hey, Moron, Ray Barone.
Agabagool.
Ray Barone.
And that's my time.
That's
Thanks.
my time, everyone.
This is incredible.
Oh my
Around the
God.
world with Matt Ryan.
That's my time, Lois. That's my time.
What did we talk about before we started this episode, by the way? I just want
to... You said do not do any Peter Griffin impressions.
No, I'm not even joking. I said legit impressions about how they've made me cringe since I was a child.
That's true. Yeah, we did discuss just how hacky they are, and it is very cringeworthy. You did say specifically, even when you were a kid, you were like, no.
Yeah. What the deuce?
Yeah, that's that early Family Guy stuff is wretched. Anyway.
My
wife, enjoy Borat 2, subsequent movie.
And like we say at the end of every episode, ogres are like onions. Signing off,
Yes.
This is Dave and Matt.
You have to peel them to understand their beauty. And with that, goodbye, donkey.
And then I saw her face.
Dun, dun,
Now
dun,
I'm
dun.
a believer.
I'm a believer without a trace. A huge Shrek ass. See ya.